Yo, 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 and welcome back to another episode of the Nyc and Griff Show. Today is Thursday, August 4th. It is 6:01 p.m., and I'm happy to be back with another article read. You know, we always talk about the difference between Bitcoin with a lowercase b and Bitcoin with an uppercase b, right? And what the difference between those two are. Bitcoin with a lowercase b, right? That's the commodity money. That's the actual coin that you buy in self-custody, the fixed supply commodity that you own. Whereas Bitcoin with a capital B is Bitcoin, the network, right? The investment, the highway of sorts with the on-ramps and the off-ramps, right? It's the efficiencies, the ability to utilize the technology of blockchain technology. And those two different Bitcoins, right, lowercase and uppercase, are very important to understand the difference. Well, we had, I don't know if I think that this was today, may have been within the past couple of days, but we had an incredible announcement that I think is really interesting, and that was that BlackRock, not BlackRock, the largest asset holder in, I don't know if it's probably not the world, but in the United States for sure, they announced a partnership with Coinbase to allow their investors access to initially Bitcoin and at some point into the future, potentially crypto in general. And I wanted to read an article from, let's see, who is this from? Bloomberg. It's the Bloomberg article. And they kind of go through and talked a little bit about some of the things in this agreement and had some commentary and some quotes from the actual announcement itself. And I thought, man, I read this thing. I thought it was a pretty interesting article. At least it hits on the main points. And I wanted to get this sucker out to you guys. So let's jump into this sucker. So like I said, this is a Bloomberg article. I've got this pulled up on the MacBook. So I've got it in read view so that, or what is this called? Yeah, I think it's the reader view so that you kind of miss all the noise. So it's a little cleaner to read, but let's jump into the sucker. It's titled BlackRock Teams Up with Coinbase in Crypto Market Expansion. Partnership will help clients oversee their Bitcoin exposure. Coinbase is facing an SEC probe over trading of digital tokens. We know that that Coinbase is going through a lot of legal issues right now because, to be completely honest, they're slinging these shit coins, which are, for the most part, unregistered securities. So they're facing some legal issues because of that, which is kind of an interesting move on BlackRock's part. But, you know, hey, they can make their own decisions, right? So let's jump into this sucker. BlackRock is partnering with Coinbase Global Inc. to make it easier for institutional investors to manage and trade Bitcoin, taking the world's largest asset, okay, so it is the world's largest asset manager, into a cryptocurrency market hammered by plunging prices and government investigations. Coinbase surged 15% to blah, blah, blah. The partnership with BlackRock provides some relief for the biggest U.S. crypto trading platform, whose stock had lost more than 2/3 of its value this year through Wednesday. Wealth for you, enjoying Bloomberg Wealth, blah, blah, to read more articles. Okay. Top BlackRock clients will be able to use its Aladdin investment management system to oversee their exposure to Bitcoin, along with other portfolio assets such as stocks and bonds, and to facilitate financing and trading on Coinbase's exchange, according to a statement Thursday. That's a really cool little statement there. I think that that's kind of cool where, you know, if you own stocks and bonds, I wouldn't say and bonds, but if you own stocks, if you own, I think a utopian world for me as far as tracking your own personal portfolio would be where you can have one platform to see your Bitcoin holdings and the value of that real time, your stock holdings and the value of that real time, your real estate, all of that kind of stuff, your business owning, all that stuff I think would be really cool. So it's interesting that they're incorporating that stuff. The focus of the partnership with Coinbase, the biggest U.S. crypto trading platform, will initially be on Bitcoin. It says that in quotes, BlackRock said. So that's pretty cool, right? So they're gonna partnership, or they're gonna partner with Coinbase, and it's initially gonna be on Bitcoin, which is beautiful. Love that. BlackRock's move deepens the involvement of Wall Street's traditional financial players in crypto and related technologies, even after this year's meltdown in such assets. Meltdown compared to what, right? One Bitcoin is one Bitcoin. Bitcoin has lost about half its value in dollar terms in 2022. While the collapse of the Terra ecosystem and hedge fund Three Arrows Capital have raised questions about the resilience of the market and prompted increased regulatory scrutiny. Yeah, I agree with that in some sense. A lot of people look at crypto as the umbrella term and think, man, that's really scary. And crypto in general, I think, is a little scary. But Bitcoin is not crypto. So that's good to know. Matt Levine's money stuff is what's missing from your. Oh no, wait, sorry. I'm reading some ads, I think, that kind of slipped through the reader view. Coinbase is facing a probe by the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission into whether the company let Americans trade digital assets that should have been registered as securities. I think that we know what the answer is to that, guys. BlackRock chose to partner with Coinbase because of its scale in the market and role in providing trading, custody services, prime brokerage, and reporting capabilities. The services will be available for clients of both companies. The regulatory risks from the partnership are manageable because it's starting with Bitcoin. Interesting. Which has clearer regulatory status in Washington than other digital assets, said Oppenheimer and Co. analyst Owen Liu, however you pronounce that, who has the equivalent of a buy rating on Bitcoin shares, or Coinbase shares, sorry. The partnership is a, in quote, validation of the future of blockchain and digital assets, and also a validation of Coinbase's reputation, Liu said in a phone interview. It's a big plus for the industry and also for Coinbase. It's definitely a huge plus for Coinbase. I don't know if this validates Coinbase's reputation necessarily. It seems like kind of a separate issue, but definitely is big for Coinbase and is big for the industry. I absolutely agree with that. The announcement shows sophisticated investors are growing more comfortable with the crypto market. Our institutional clients are increasingly interested in gaining exposure to digital asset markets and are focused on how to efficiently manage the operational life cycle of these assets, Joseph Shalom, BlackRock's global head of strategic ecosystem partnerships, said in the statement. Institutional investors accounted for about 3/4 of the $309 billion in trading volume on Coinbase in the first quarter, the company disclosed in May. Wow, that's crazy. Institutional investors accounted for 3/4 of the $309 billion in trading volume on Coinbase in the first quarter. That's interesting. Cool. Coinbase clients include hedge funds, corporate treasuries, and asset managers. The Coinbase partnership between BlackRock and Aladdin is an exciting milestone for our firm. Brett Tajpal, head of Coinbase Institutional, and Greg Tizar, vice president of institutional product, said in a separate statement. We are committed to pushing the industry forward and creating new access points, on-ramps, I like to call them, new on-ramps as institutional crypto adoption continues to rapidly accelerate. Now, notice the wording that this guy says. He says, we are committed to pushing the industry forward and creating new access points, right? New on-ramps onto the infrastructure, the network of Bitcoin, right? You call it the interstate highway. So they're going to create new on-ramps onto this Bitcoin interstate highway as institutional crypto adoption continues, right? Which means that this is already happening. It continues to rapidly accelerate. So it's continuing to rapidly accelerate. That's really exciting. For BlackRock, the partnership is the next step in a wider strategy to expand into digital assets. CEO Larry Fink said in March that the firm was studying the growing importance of digital assets and stablecoins and how they can be used to help clients. The following month, the company joined a group of investors in Circle Internet Financial, the issuer of USD Coin, and said it would seek to serve as a primary manager of the stablecoin's cash reserves. Blah, blah. Yeah, really cool really cool article. Let's see if that's the last piece of it here. You can see, look at all these freaking ads in here. This is crazy, right? I think that it's wild to see. I mean, where is the article at? I can't even see where the article's at. Okay, here we go. Yeah, so that was the article. I thought that was a really cool article and a cool announcement from BlackRock. I wouldn't necessarily say that I'm a fan of BlackRock necessarily. I think that the individuals, the people, should own assets. Need to own more assets. We need to buy houses. We need to buy the stocks. We need to buy the Bitcoin. The people need to own these things. Ideally, not the giant corporations, right? More specifically like BlackRock. But that said, the fact that a huge entity like BlackRock that controls so much is now starting to partner with companies like Coinbase to allow their customers and clients to access Bitcoin is incredible for Bitcoin. Because, the beautiful part about this, right? We've talked about this multiple times on the show, is that Bitcoin doesn't care. Bitcoin doesn't care about BlackRock. Bitcoin doesn't care about Coinbase. Bitcoin doesn't care about you. Bitcoin doesn't care about me. Bitcoin just does what Bitcoin was made to do. It's an automated software. It's an automated technology. It just operates, right? Now you have to feed that network energy, right? You have to feed that network electricity in order for it to do that. But it's an automated software, right? It doesn't care about anything. It doesn't care about who's doing what. It just operates. And I think that the more that the ecosystem adopts Bitcoin, the more capital is going to flow into Bitcoin, and the more capital that flows into Bitcoin, the more that the Bitcoin network is going to expand and develop, right? Which is the Bitcoin with a capital B, the investment of Bitcoin. The more that that's going to expand, and the more that expands, the more people are going to realize, and it will be revealed to them, the efficiencies and the powers of what Bitcoin can bring to the world. So I thought that was a cool announcement. I wanted to bring a little article read to you guys about that. Excited about continuing to buy more and more Bitcoin as much as I can. And yeah, so thank you guys for listening to another episode of the Nyc and Griff Show, and we will see you on Saturday. Peace.